Good morning children. Now here is history lesson 3, the Delhi Sultans. So let us recall what we have learnt earlier in our previous class. We have learnt about the Mongols and Alauddin Khalji, Muhammad Tughlaq, about how they raised here a huge administrative large army against Mongols, and we have also learnt about how Alauddin Khalji's administrative measures were considered as successful because they controlled the prices and collection of tax was fixed. So chroniclers praised him his administrative measures. And then here during the early Muhammad Tughlaq reigns, we have seen that as he did not control the prices, collected additional taxes which led to famine and rebellion. So his measures were considered as failure. So today children, we are going to learn about the Delhi Sultanate in the 15th and 16th centuries. That means after the Tughlaqs in the 15th and 16th century. Now look at your textbook children once. You will observe that after the Tughlaqs, the Sayyid and the Lodi dynasties, they ruled from Agra and Delhi until 1526. So at the end of the Tughlaq region, here we are seeing that children, the Sayyid and the Lodi dynasties ruled from Delhi and Agra until 1526. By then, Jaunpur, Bengal, Gujarat, Malwa, Rajasthan and the entire South India, they had independent rulers, and they started here establishing states and capitals with prosperous. They started here establishing new independent rulers. They started establishing here prosperous capitals and states. So which led here independent rulers in many of the states. And then at the same time, we are also seeing that here new groups that were emerging like Afghans and the Rajputs. So here we are seeing independent rulers, new states, then big capitals, and then Afghan rulers and Rajputs. So these all were emerging at the end of the Delhi Sultanate. And then here there were some of the states which were very small during this period, but they were very powerful. And here Sher Shah Suri, who started ruling from 1540 to 1545. So here Sher Shah Suri actually was a soldier from an Afghan. So with his uncle in Bihar, he started his career as a small manager, and he eventually challenged and defeated Humayun. He defeated here Humayun at Chaucer and conquered Delhi. So he established in Delhi Suri dynasty. He established here Suri dynasty, which ruled from here 15 years. The dynasty ruled here 15 years. That is from 1540 to 1545. So after the end of the Delhi Sultanate, Suri dynasty was established. And during his rule, as it was very efficient because many of the elements he followed from Alauddin Khalji, as his measures were considered as very successful, so Sher Shah, he borrowed many elements from Alauddin Khalji, and his administration was very efficient, very well administered, because during his rule he started many measures. For example, like collecting fixed taxes, and then postal system was introduced, laying of the roads. He constructed many tombs, structures, monuments, rest houses, etc. There was law and order, justice in his relief. So here Sher Shah Suri, Now how we got the name as Sher? Now here he has eventually single-handed killed a tiger. So he got the title as Sher Shah. So this is what children here, how his administration was very efficient. As his administration was very efficient, so a great emperor, Akbar, he too followed his administration, which he consolidated the Mughal Empire. So this is all about the administration of Sher Shah Suri, that at the end of the Delhi Sultanate, how we established Suri dynasty, which made him very successful. And now let us come here children about elsewhere now. So at the same time, in other places, what happened, let us see. Let us take here the example of France children. In the early 11th century in France, the first it formulated here the idea of the three orders. That is here the division of the class into three classes. That is here those who prayed, those who fought, and those who tilled the land. So this idea, okay children here, that means here the three orders, the division of class in France, it was supported by the church, which led to form a new warrior group known as knights. Actually here the idea of the church, that is here the peace of God, that made here what children here, that led here campaigns, that is here against the Muslims who had captured the Jerusalem, and the series of these campaigns were known as crusades. So here in the service of God and in the service of church, as a result resulted here, that is about the crusades. And in the early 11th century and a later year in France and Germany, the warriors are completely forgotten and the knights were known as here, who were not here the class of nobles. But by the end of the 12th century, we saw that even the nobles wanted to be known as knights. So this is what we are seeing, that in France and in Germany, the knights, the noble people, wanted to be known as. So this is here the division of class in France, that is here, which was supported by the church. But at the end of the 12th century, the nobles also wanted to be known as knights. So children here, this is the end of the lesson children. Now finally what we have learnt that here, that after the 15th, that is at the end of the Sultanate, we are seeing here the Suri dynasty was formed after 1526. Okay children here, that is, and many new independent rulers established their own kingdoms and becoming powerful. One example we can take it as here Suri dynasty. After year 1526, we are seeing that how they established their new dynasty, which was known as Suri, and his administration was very efficient because many of the elements were borrowed from Alauddin Khalji, which led here successful administration. So this is the end of the lesson children. Read textbook. Thank you children.